Namaste, Angel. This is the weekly love reading for the period of today, Sunday, May 31st, through Saturday to come, June 6th. We're going to begin right away with the dice and spend money, romantic dinner. Perhaps that's what you're spending money on. And it's 50-50. So it could be each of you spending money, like going Dutch on a date. 50-50 also about being able to give and receive, the balance that's necessary for healthy relationships, give and take, and also being open to love. So having a heart that's open and allowing love to flow and pass both ways as it needs to be able to do in order to be healthy. Fifty-50 can also be somebody's chances. Maybe if you're, going to take a risk and approach someone, you're not sure if they're interested, or throw yourself out there into the dating pool, as they say. You're not sure, 50-50. You meet somebody, you don't. Those are the chances, but you won't have, you got to be in it to win it, as they say. All right, Spirit says, dirty movie, which can be about pictures, exchanging pictures and things and videos. And it could be about watching, movies or TVs, like sort of a Netflix and chill kind of vibe also. Communication via electronic means, texting and Skype and FaceTime and all that kind of stuff. Also, cocktail. And forget it. I think that came out in the general also. Dirty movie did too, now that I think about it. All right, so we're going to get right into the cards now. Starting with this one, which is kind of like that it's 50-50 die. Open your heart to love, says Jesus. Jesus has a feast day this week on the 4th for those interested. Of course, I talk about it some more in the general reading. From my Universal Love Oracle, beginning with listening, which is very Aquarius / water sign kind of energy for me. The Aquarius, I guess, because it comes from the star, but also the listening, right? Listening is part of and a form of communication, and communication is ruled by the air signs. So that's from where I get the Aquarius and the air. And I don't know why it's always just also felt like water too. I guess the depths, right? This woman appears to be floating in outer space. So I guess the depths and the vastness reminds me of water as well. Right behind that, also upright, we have relationship, which is more so about the relationship that one has with themselves than it is about having a relationship with anybody else. It basically says before you can have a relationship with somebody else that's healthy and good, and you got to work on yourself and open your heart to love and things like that, right? So once we do that, then we'll be more able to work, have relationships with other people that work and that last and that are reciprocal and flourish and all those things, because they are, again, healthy. And it's interesting that the 8 of Cups is coming on the heels of that, because in terms of love, this card can mean that you're especially for those that in a long-term relationship that are just feeling like it's over and needs to end. And I was, ironically, coincidentally, I was speaking to somebody via Messenger this morning, and the conversation started and sort of went on very organically, originally beginning with a totally unrelated subject, having nothing to do with being married for, 30, 40 years and needing and wanting out of the relationship. But that's what we ended up talking about. And this card can mean, doesn't have to be that long, but it can mean that you're, and you've decided that some sort of long-term relationship, romantic relationship, needs to end, is going to end. And once you're certain about it and you've really made up your mind that needs to happen, it guides you not to waste any time in doing so, and not to try to wait for the right time. It's never going to be the right time. And again, coincidentally, I said the same thing. I said, once you decide, you just kind of got to go. You can't, you can, because we have free will, But I don't advise that you, give reasons of why you're unable, why you're stuck, why you're trapped. Like, oh, but what about the kids? Or, oh, what about I don't have enough money and all. Just go. I mean, how many stories have you heard, these sort of like rags to riches kind of things about people who just got out, and when they did, they had no money. I was watching something yesterday. This woman's parents had migrated from Guyana with $100 in their pocket. Taraji P. Henson went to LA with her baby boy at the time with $700 in her pocket. We see how that worked out. It's just like you just got to go. There comes a time. And this is one of those times. And then it further guides you that once you do make that break, don't automatically like go to another relationship. Try not to. Again, you have free will, you can do whatever you want, but try not to just jump right into a new relationship, and instead give yourself some time and space to be by yourself on your own with you, getting to know and like and enjoy and love you. And then you'll be able to have healthier relationships again with other people if you so choose. And if you don't, that's okay too, because at least what's most important is you got a healthy relationship with you, first and foremost. So you feel that there's more to life than what you're living. So it's time to move on. You may be moving from a situation that isn't good for you, or perhaps you're being drawn to what would make you happy. Either way, you're in control. And even in that case, when you're being drawn to what would make you happy, I would recommend, like if somebody's waiting for you, you've been entertaining some other relationship or whatever, and they figure, okay, well, as soon as you're out of that relationship, you can go, headstrong into this one. I'm still going to recommend no, and they may be listening right now and be mad at me, but it's best in either case for you to spend some time by yourself. And I understand the expectation of, okay, if you're really done with that, then we should be able to take off now. But particularly people who've been in a relationship for a long time, and especially if they've been married and this is their first time maybe single in years, maybe their first time living alone ever. Some people go straight from their parents' house to the house that they have with their spouse. I did, other than going away to college and moving away with my cousins. When I was a young girl, I was at home. And I got married and I went and lived with my husband. So I never lived by myself. And so people need to be able to do stuff like that, and in order to, again, flourish. So that's the extent of that card. I could go on about it for a while, apparently. Next up, Archangel Michael, trusting heaven. You're safe. Angels are close. Surrender your concerns and allow a miracle to occur. So this is where you may feel that something is impossible. Whether it's moving towards something or something coming toward you, or your ability to walk away from something. Maybe say, how can I leave a relationship I've been in for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, whatever it is. It's impossible. I'm stuck. I'm trapped. And then this is Archangel Michael saying, if you have faith and focus on the intention, and again, use your free will choices to your advantage, then anything is possible. Trust heaven. Right behind him is Lord Ganesha. He showed up in the general reading in another deck yesterday. It's upside down, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it because, like I said, he did show up yesterday to remove obstacles and blocks out of our way. Infinite abundance. Obstacles are being removed. Spiritual support and connections are increasing. So again, trust heaven. And lastly, with the Rider-Waite Tarot, we have Major Arcana card, the Hermit, and the Hermit reverse. Sorry. Hermit, first and foremost, let me throw out there, it does represent the sign of Virgo most directly, and or other earth signs. Taurus, Capricorn, where there's a hell of a lot of activity right now. This week, actually, something else enters Capricorn, and I don't recall right now. Pluto's there, Jupiter's there, Pallas, the asteroid, which is currently retrograde and had started in Capricorn, then moved to Aquarius. It is going back to Capricorn this week. There may be other stuff happening there that I can't think of right now. In any case, this is again primarily Virgo energy, and in reverse as it relates to love. He's still saying that possibly a relationship from your past is going to be rekindled. Maybe some second time around. There's a Shalimar song like that about love, second time around, and it's going to be better than the first time. So they're going to make sure that they do it right this time, right? They're not going to, maybe they were too young or whatever the case was. So there could be some of that happening. Also, it's about, in general, asking yourself what you really want, whether somebody from your past is returning or not. But of course, especially if somebody from your past is returning, asking yourself whether you want them to, whether you want to go that route. If it sort of, what relationships, if the relationships around you, again, whether they're from the past or potential new ones, align with what appears, at least in your mind, to be your purpose and your direction and where you're headed in the journey and everything. And if not, then, maybe you're not interested. Also, it's very possible when this card shows up that you're already in a committed relationship and you're questioning all these things, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. And that, in your case, some of you may be deciding, you're in this committed relationship and again, it's time for you to go, whether somebody from your past is coming or not. But that could definitely be a catalyst to it, some sort of old rekindled relationship. Or if you're just feeling bored and over your relationship, which I think came up specifically for the earth signs yesterday. It came up for one of the elements. You got to think about it. And if you decide that you want to save the relationship, it's going to be important to put time and energy and attention into it. And, even if you're like busy and you're a workhorse, like a Capricorn, you're still going to have to. And of course, again, if you're not interested, then walk away without making excuses as to why you can't do it just yet, or you're waiting for the right time. The time is never going to be right. It's never the right time to tell somebody, I don't want to be with you anymore. After all these years, it's difficult no matter when you do it, and it's best to rip off the Band-Aid. Right behind that, we have the Three of Cups upright, which can also be about reuniting with people and celebrating and being social and having a good time, enjoying life and reconciliation. So definitely, again, somebody from your past could be returning, specifically as it relates to love. Maybe a Virgo or other earth sign, specifically. It's possible. All right, so let's use those actually for our first. I'm going to take these, and these away. I feel like I want to use both of these this week. Oh, okay. So 2 cards just fell away from here. That would have been our advice. I guess this would have been the masculine's card. Right, says thought. There's a full moon here. There is a full moon this week, full moon in Sagittarius. And maybe you're meant to communicate something in written communication, text, a card, a letter. I don't know. And father, husband, brother, son would have been the feminine's advice card, I guess. King Osiris here pictured. And this card, when it shows up, means that there is a male and or masculine energy with whom you have a relationship that needs to be healed. It could be your own inner masculine too, by the way, or another person. Pardon the phone. All right, so I'm just going to stick these in here. I may shuffle these up again when we decide to go back to them and use them, but we'll see. I just saw also, I don't know if you guys saw it when I opened the cards up, Pallas Athena and detached from drama. So I was just talking about the asteroid Pallas, which is in fact named after Pallas Athena. She is the goddess of war. And when the goddess of war tells you to detach from drama, then you know you really need to, because she's for it, right? She's here for it normally. Okay. Let's do this. So the same way I do those, one for each element, we'll do these. Fire, earth, air, and water. The same order that they appear in the zodiac, beginning with the sign of Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. And same thing here. And maybe two cards together will give us a more complete message. We'll see. Or two separate messages. We'll see about that too. All right, so here goes. Looks like these may be out of frame, so anybody who wants to be able to see the overall energy, it is listening again, and I'll move these a little bit. And hopefully that's better. I think that's better. All right, fire signs. Let's see what you got. So, oh, boom. Wow, I didn't see what it was paired with yet. Boom. And this is like really your energy. The Wheel of Fortune most directly represents the sign of Sagittarius, about which I was just talking, where the full moon and a prenuptial lunar eclipse is going to be on Friday, June 5th. So that is your energy. There's also some other Jupiter. Oh yeah, I just talked about Jupiter being not only retrograde, but currently located in Capricorn. So there's still that. There is a transit this week between Jupiter, while retrograde in Capricorn, and Chiron, which is the another asteroid, which is currently located in Aries. So that's your energy too. Chiron, the wounded healer, who's always able to help other people but not himself. So that may be something meaningful to you guys too in this respect. But a soulmate relationship, maybe between two fire signs, because there's all this, it's like this huge light behind it. So it's like more fire, even though she's emerging from a lotus flower. So I guess that could be Earth also. I mean, it could be any sign, but I'm just seeing some things here in the card. In any case, a soulmate relationship could be set ablaze. It could be a twin flame. Maybe that's what all the fire is all about too. For you fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius this week, and specifically as it relates to love, the Wheel of Fortune can mean that a relationship needs to be like renegotiated. You got to change the terms. Maybe the old contract is expired. The way you used to try to do stuff, it's no longer working for you, no longer suits your needs or the other person's needs, or both. And so because of that, doesn't mean that the relationship needs to end or that it's over, it can't work. It just needs to be able to work in a new way. It needs to grow with you guys, right? If you guys have grown, you're ascending, or different things are happening, then the relationship needs to do the same. And so you may need to put some effort into that happening. In fact, it's not may. You will have to put some effort into that happening if you want it to do well. You got to talk about what you're feeling. Let the other person talk about what they're feeling. Be sure to also listen, right? It's not all about you. It's not all about them. It's 50-50. So think about those things too. And if you're single and looking for a relationship, then you kind of need to get clear on like who, what you're looking for. And it's very possible that you could meet somebody that fits that match. And it is a legit like soulmate relationship in the very near future. Friends may introduce you to this person. Earth signs. Well, that looks like your energy too. I see all the green and stuff, but it's like with purple, and it's called dreams. So the dreams card, for me, most directly always has connected to the energy of Pisces, but in general, I'm seeing a lot of earth and water together in this picture. Are you guys? So dreams, the way that I pick up this card, it can be like literally dreams and goals, like the person of your dreams, like the type of ideal mate for you that you've envisioned, what you want. This can be somebody who you've seen in your dreams, who you know in your dreams, whether you're asleep or awake. You may have recently had dreams about somebody that you already have in mind, you know, an ex, a potential, or whatever it is. And dreams can be all of those different things. Again, it's very Piscean for me, but any water sign may be connected to you. Earth sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. I'd say more likely perhaps than some of the other signs, just judging by this card. And, okay, and this is your energy too. It's the Nine of Pentacles, which, although this woman is alone, and a lot of the times I'll use this card in, you know, in a kind of reading that I'm doing to pick up on maybe somebody being single, single and okay, right? Alone, not lonely. There's a difference. I'll pick up that with this card. However, traditional practice, what it means in the tarot, it's actually a really wonderful omen with regard to love. It means that if you're currently committed, you can expect the relationship to continue to grow and just to ascend, like I was just talking about for the fire signs. New levels of intimacy and happiness, joy, just really, really good. If you're single and looking, then like what I said to them, it tells you that somebody new is in your near future, and it is going to kind of be, although you don't have the soulmate card they have, it's still going to be that type of like genuinely meaningful, deep, reciprocal love. I mean, the Nine of Pentacles is about worth and value, deservingness. You can tell that but just by looking at the card, whether you know how to read cards or not, right? This woman, she just looks, well-to-do, right? And that's what it's about. It's about value, worth, deservingness. So that type of love, what you deserve, what you've envisioned, what you've dreamed of, headed your way if you don't have it already. And if you are in a committed relationship already, and you still may not feel that you've reached that height yet, I'd say you're going to grow to another level at least, and maybe you will reach that height this week. I'm glad I decided to do this. This was kind of random, the two cards. And it was even random for me to pull out this deck, but I'll be honest with you, it was under my table. And I was like, oh, look at those. I'll just use them. Air signs. This is for us. Okay, so my fellow Geminis, my fellow Aquarians, because I'm both, and you Libras too. What do we got? Embrace. Okay, so this, not unlike the relationship card, really based on the author's intent, is more so about one's relationship with themselves than it is about a relationship with another person. Yes, it appears to be a couple in a tight and loving embrace. And maybe some of us will end up like that, right, in the physical this week, or at least energetically this week. But the author's intention in making the card was that we become balanced in such a way internally that our inner masculine and feminine come together in a harmonious way like this. That this is one person, one healthy person. But let's see. Oh boy. Okay. Wow. So we got two cards with two people, twins, my fellow twins, and the other air signs too, of course. But this is Gemini season, so this could be a birthday gift for us. So Two of Cups is, not everybody's gotten good cards so far. So even though we got the Two of Cups and everybody wants that when it comes to love, it's basically the same or a very similar meaning to what I told the other people. That sort of balanced partnership, genuine commitment, true love, all the things we hope for, all the things we dream for, all the things you want in a mate, that everybody wants. in a mate. That's what the Two of Cups represents. So it's that kind of love, either growing for you if you're already in a commitment, deepening to something like that, or your chances of meeting somebody with whom you can have that. Now here's the catch. Even though you got this, right, the Two of Cups, and we got this other card that illustrates two people, again, really coming together in what looks to be, real, legit love, maybe with a fire sign, with all this red in this card here too, or a water sign, maybe a Scorpio specifically, because they got the fire with they're in part being ruled by Mars. And they got the water, so it could be them. In any case, whatever sign or energy element, with whom it is genuine. Is what's more important. This is the real deal. But again, the catch is that just because you got the Two of Cups doesn't mean like you don't have to do anything. You still have to, communicate effectively, listen when that kind of communication is happening, especially since, again, air signs, particularly Aquarius, your energy is showing up here in the overall energy as well in terms of listening. So if there's a communication, you got to be open to the other person's perspective, 50-50, contributing to a healthy conversation. The Two of Cups can often be about forgiveness. So it might be like some apologies being made. It could be maybe this is coming back from separation, or or an argument or something, mending fences, just deciding to discuss some things, clear the air about some things that we've been sweeping under the rug in the past. All of these are possibilities. And like I told the others, if you're single and looking, this is a really good sign that it's like right around the corner for you. Something genuine, not just a man or a woman, not just a person. A genuine connection, like the real deal, not karmic. Karmic, but not karmic. And I say that because for those of you who are not familiar with my feelings, my take, and what is really the true definition of karmic, is that karmic means of the universe, containing a lesson. So all soulmate relationships are karmic. We somehow, particularly on this sort of journey, spiritual journey as it relates to love, karmic has been come to be known as like a derogatory term, but that's not how it was meant. All of your soulmate relationships, whether romantic or not, are karmic ones. And then karmic you can use as your derogatory term. All right, lastly, water signs. Emergence. So this is like rising from the ashes. It's very Phoenix-like for me. It may be connecting you to a fire sign, or maybe this is largely speaking to the Scorpios among you. As a matter of fact, traditionally in mythology, the Phoenix does connect to the sign of Scorpio, and also to the energy of fire. And the reason it connects to Scorpio is because it's about like death and rebirth. And the Phoenix is known in mythology to be this this bird, this entity, this being that goes on to live and or to be reborn and to live again for as much as 500 years. So it's like you can't get rid of it. It's always going to come back, maybe bigger, stronger, more, angry, more fiery, and do what it has to do. So that could be a message there for you. Again, Scorpio specifically, or others of you who are dealing with fire signs, or Scorpios who are dealing with fire signs. It could be that. Or again, fire doesn't have to be involved at all. This is, it's pretty straightforward. Rising from the ashes. Some surrender is going to be required. So you see she's looking up like toward the heavens, and there's 3 rays coming down on her, on her face. Perhaps that is, mother, father, you, God, again, the Mother, the Father, and the Holy Spirit, depending upon what the Trinity or what three rays might mean to you. Could be three of your ancestors, or ascended masters are represented by the number three, whatever. But you see she's looking up toward this light as if she is listening, right? And getting some sort of message. So the female naked body, to me, or naked body in general, but they tend to be female in these cards, is about surrender, right? You can't be any more vulnerable and naked as an adjective, as in stripped down to your essence, as you are when you are literally naked. So when you are like that, you are in full vulnerability, you are in full surrender. So when I see naked body, female naked body, it says to me, this is about the need to surrender. So you don't just look to the heavens for the guidance and then not follow it. You actually are surrendering into the energy and allowing it to, transform you like Phoenix, right? And let's see. Oh, wow. Speaking of something or someone looking down from the heavens, this is very Pentecost, right? Like when the Holy Spirit descended upon people, or it's very Revelations, right? And it does represent the sign of Scorpio also, and the planet Pluto, which is Scorpio's other ruler. And you can even see like the water in the back of this card. But it's very purgatory, like when you're in between heaven and hell, and depending upon what happens with your sins, it's ultimately deciding where you're going to go. So here comes Gabriel to, call everybody and say, it's time for your judgment. This is Major Arcana card 20, Judgment. And so judgment for me is about abundance that is earned. And love is a form of abundance. So that's one of the things that you deserve. Again, you are worthy. You deserve genuine, real, true love. Judgment is also about second chances and second time around. So again, going back to our overall energy of the Hermit in reverse and the Three of Cups that sits right behind it. Somebody could be coming back from your past, an ex or something, and you could, or somebody with whom you're, or from whom you've been separated or something like that, and you guys could be working things out. So there's that. Second time around, second chances, like the Shalimar song I mentioned, doing it like right this time. Maybe there hasn't been a breakup, there hasn't been a separation, but you realize, sort of like what I told the fire signs, the relationship needs to be revamped, redesigned. We need a new contract. We need new terms of agreement, because this is not, working anymore. I'm not aligning with this. Okay, or it doesn't align with me and my vibration, we're not resonating, then we need to sort of change things around. So it can mean that too. And then lastly, it can mean that you've reached sort of like this crossroad, like a make or break period. And it's time to decide what you want out of the relationship, whether you want to remain together, whether you want to separate, how far you plan on going. It's like time to have that talk. Maybe you've reached the point in your relationship where it's like, okay, well, we started out just having fun and now here we are. So what are we going to do? Are we going to start talking about marriage, or, like what? Or, maybe we should part ways if we're not on the same page. If I want kids and you don't, or whatever the case is, right? So those are the things that are going to be coming up, it looks like, for you water signs. Also, judgment is also always about not rushing to judgment, good or bad, right? Positive or negative. So especially for those of you who meet somebody new, actually take some time, to get to know them, listen, have conversations, listen to them, communicate, and don't rush to judgment, positive or negative, about, how they are or how the relationship is or will be. Although, think Knight of Pentacles maybe, and slow and steady wins the race. I haven't done the masculine perspective and all that, but I don't think I'm going to. Let's try to come back and do a moon reading, right? For the full moon in Sagittarius and the lunar eclipse, and do that then. Did I give? Yes. I was going to say each archetype a card from each deck. Yes, I did. And then we want to go back to this one, the Keepers of the Light Oracle. Again, the overall energy is Archangel Michael and trusting heaven. You are safe. Angels stand close. Surrender, like I just told the water signs, your concerns and allow a miracle to occur. This Archangel Michael is very air, but maybe there's a connection between air and water too. Again, we got this Two of Cups here, and we had not only water, not only air and water, but maybe again specifically Scorpio with the air sign. What other decks? Whoa. Oh goodness. They all fell face down. I don't know what any of them are. The Ascended Masters deck. And I took away those cards, right? Yes, I did. And I put them back in the middle. So there we go. And the overall message there was open your heart to love is what Jesus has to say to us all. All right, so from the Ascended Masters to the masculine, crystals, says Epona. So crystals specific to love, you may want to get yourself some rose quartz if you don't have any. That's, or any of these sort of pink or red stones are pretty effective as it relates to love. Carnelian, even. It's kind of red. It can be orange and stuff like that too. Feminine, our card from the Ascended Masters, is persistence, says Lou. It means just like basically don't give up on yourself or love or, you know, even your mate if you have one and you're just trying to get it figured out. Get it figured out. Right? Persistence. Lead to success. From the Ascended Masters deck, the Four of Winter. Thoroughly think things through before making a decision. Continuing to overanalyze isn't going to get you any closer to a decision, but meditation and prayer will bring you the answers that you seek. The Four of Swords is a card that can be about a decision that you're needing to make. It often shows up accompanied by the Two of Swords, which is also about a decision, like as to reconfirm, yes, you got a decision to make. But it can also be about taking some sort of break, rest, recovery, meditation. So it can be representative of somebody maybe that needs to take a physical break and separate, or maybe need to take a break together. If you're able to have some sort of getaway together, that can be. It often shows up with the Six of Swords too, as an indication of that. Like the Four for me is like planning the vacation, and then the Six is like, okay, let's go. So when they show up together, it's like somebody's going away. This could be for people who have been separated already, and maybe there's a return, or you're deciding whether or not to make a return. Or this could be you deciding about the person from your past that's coming back, right? We've had a long break. Do I want them back in my life or not? And those are things you'll have to figure out for yourself. For the feminine, from the Animal Tarot, we got the Seven of Summer. So we too have a decision to make. It's time to stop procrastinating about it too. And to make that decision so that we can move forward with a priority. I think we're the priority too. If you need to do more research, then do so, but don't overthink the situation. Listen to your heart. Listen. And it's the water. Like I said here, I have listening combined with water, air with water. Listen to your heart. Don't be overly air signy and, over analyze and try to, use applying too much logic and stuff and no emotion. And that's what this card says too. It's like over analyzing isn't going to do you any good. Like you have to really put some, your heart and your soul and stuff into this and get it figured out. So for both masculine and feminine, we got that message. From the Angel Tarot to the masculine, Major Arcana card 8, Justice. Justice showed up in the other reading too, the general. I don't remember in what capacity though, like for which archetype or anything like that. Fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. I think it was the masculine though. I think it was. Yeah, it was. It was. And I talked about divorcing yourself from a situation and or perhaps an actual marriage, and maybe it's a legal divorce, like an actual divorce. Because the same thing could be the case. Maybe that's what you're trying to decide, whether or not to walk away from a situation or walk toward another situation. So, it's about listening to your heart. Yes, using some logic and things too. But listen to your heart, like your intuition. Where is your body, your soul trying to guide you? Major Arcana card A, Justice, most directly represents the sign of Libra and perhaps another air sign, Gemini, Aquarius. Angel Tarot to the feminine. Ugh. It is Major Arcana card 11, Strength, which was also showed up in the general. Great inner strength, release harsh judgments. Right, we just talked about judgment and fire for the water signs. So maybe some of you, some situation you have with a Leo specifically, again, or other fire sign, but you got these 2 twos too. So this is Major Arcana card 20 is Judgment. Maybe a Scorpio and a Leo. That's like my parents. My dad's a Leo. My mother's a Scorpio. Judgment is a 2. It's Major Arcana card 20, and Strength is a 2. So they're both largely about partnership and balance. This is about being able to face any and everything that comes your way, which you can definitely do when you have like the energy of the Phoenix. It's an angel, but she looks very bird-like with her wings spread this way. So this could be the rising from the ashes sort of thing. Again, Strength most directly represents the sign of Leo. It is all about being able to face any and everything that comes your way and to maybe survive, persistence and continuing to move forward despite being tired or, maybe confused sometimes and all of that. Just keep moving forward. And lastly, from the Keepers of the Light Oracle to the masculine, Master Buddha and increased awareness. We did talk about ascension and deepening of a vibration, deep connection, trust your inner voice. So it's also about listening and surrender. And lastly, for the feminine, Dharma unfolding. Remember that you're on a path and take one step at a time to happiness. Slow and steady wins the race, apparently. Hope you guys have enjoyed the love reading. I'll be back. I'm like 90% sure that I'll be back soon with the moon reading, the full moon in Sagittarius and the lunar eclipse. Namaste.